Today, I am here to tell you about the novel Pride and Prejudice written by Jane Austen in the year 1813. I will give you a brief summary about this novel. So let's get started. In this story, there is one family named Bennets. In the family, there lives Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and their 5 daughters, namely Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia.
You tell all the boys no, makes you feel good, yeah. I know you're out of my league, but that won't scare me away, oh no. You've carried on so long, you couldn't stop if you tried it. You've built your wall so high that no one could climb it.
Mrs. Bennet has a dream of marrying her daughters into the rich family. Bennet family lives in Longbourn. It's a kind of a village area. So in few days they came to know, or they came to hear a news that in the neighborhood very rich. In this new family there lives a 3 people, Charles Bingley and his 2 sisters. After listening this, Mrs. Bennet got so happy and she thought that her dream is gonna come true soon. She is surely gonna marry one of her daughter with him, and this she has made in her own mind. Then in the story there comes a new character named Fitzwilliam Darcy. He is a friend of Bingley and he came to stay with them at the Netherfield Park. Darcy is very rich if we compare him with Mr. Bingley, and he is very proudy. After some time in this village, a party is organized in which both the families were invited. In this family, Bennet family was there and Bingley family was also there. In this party, Mr. Bingley found Jane very attractive and he suddenly falls in love with her. He even dances with her too. The Mr. Bingley tells Darcy to come and join them, and he basically suggested him to dance with one of Bennet's daughter, namely Elizabeth. But Darcy just replied very rudely that no, I don't want to dance. She is not that much attractive. After listening this statement, Elizabeth got very hurt, and this leaves a very bad impression of Darcy on Elizabeth. In the next scene, we have seen that Mr. Bingley's sisters invite Jane to their home for dinner. Jane went there, but in between, as it was raining, so she got ill and she decides to stay there for some days. She called her sister Elizabeth too to live with her till she gets well again. In the passing days, Jane and Mr. Bingley make a very strong bond between them. In these days, Darcy also started feeling attracted towards Elizabeth, but after listening that statement of Darcy, Elizabeth was very much hurt, and at the present she don't have any feeling for Darcy. So she just hates him currently. Bingley's unmarried sister just hate Elizabeth as she likes Darcy. So when she just see that Darcy's attention is going towards Elizabeth, she just started hating her. Okay. Now in the novel, a new character came named Mr. Colin. Colin is the relative, or you can say the owner of the property of Mr. Bennet. Like after Mr. Bennet's death, the whole property will transfer to the Mr. Collins. Mr. Colin proposed Elizabeth, but she rejected the proposal that I don't like you, and just she rejected the proposal without giving an accurate reason. Then in the story there comes the villain of the novel, that is George Wickham. He is the local military officer. He meets Elizabeth and talks about Darcy. He says a lot of negative stuff about Darcy, and Elizabeth got convinced too, as she also had heard that negative statement from Darcy. So she somehow just trusts him, and Elizabeth falls in love with him. Like, she found George Wickham attractive, and this was very strange. Like, she rejected Darcy, she rejected Mr. Collins, but she found the villain of the story a little attractive. After some days, Colin went back, and after few days he went back to Bennett's, and this time he got married with Elizabeth's best friend named Charlotte Lucas. After having the conversation with Charlotte, Elizabeth came to know that Charlotte took this decision so that she can escape her financial crisis. After this, Jane came to know about a very shocking news, that like, she got a letter from one of Bingley's sisters that their family is going to London and Mr. Bingley will get married to Darcy's sister. After listening this, the Bennet family got disturbed, and Elizabeth get even more angry on Darcy. She just thought that behind all this, Darcy is responsible. He must have been responsible for all this, as Bingley is going to marry Darcy's sister. That's why she thought this. After this, Elizabeth went to meet her best friend Charlotte Lucas, which is now married to Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins lives with Lady Catherine, and Lady Catherine is also an aunt to Mr. Darcy. So one day, Lady Catherine just organized one party, and Darcy and Elizabeth got the chance to meet there. So there, Darcy proposes Elizabeth, but she rejects the proposal, and for that rejection, she gave him 2 reasons that why she's saying no. She said that you have taken the job of Wickham. Why? That the villain, Wickham is that villain who just give the negative opinions about Darcy to her. And secondly, she said that you just broke my sister's engagement with Mr. Bingley too. And she added few points too, that you are too proudy, or whatever the negative stuff she had in her heart about him. She just spills everything out. Mr. Darcy felt so bad after listening all that stuff, and he went quietly from there. But yeah, he wrote a letter to her explaining everything. He explains that he is not responsible for her sister's engagement scene at all. And secondly, he talked about Wickham, that if he talk about Wickham, so he is a very negative and a bad person. He tried to run away with Darcy's younger sister. That's why he took this harsh step on him. After this scene, Elizabeth felt a little good about Darcy, that he is not that bad. Then Darcy went back to London, and Elizabeth went back to her home. In the next scene, we have seen that Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner came to the Bennet family, or to the Bennet house. Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner are aunt and uncle to Elizabeth, so they take Elizabeth with them for an outing to the Pemberley house. In the Pemberley house, Darcy was also present there, and he once again got the chance to meet Elizabeth and to impress her too, as he is now in love with Elizabeth. After this news, after having a conversation with them, they came to know that the Lydia, the most youngest sister, ran away with the George Wickham. She ran away with the villain of the novel. Elizabeth came to know there, and after hearing this, she went back to her home, and she searched for Lydia everywhere but ended up with nothing. She was not able to find her sister. After a few days, Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner inform Bennet that Lydia is with them, but George Wickham is not ready to live with Lydia, as he wants some money from Bennet's. Like, he must be having some debts or anything, so he just wants some money. If Bennet will give him some money, so he will live with Lydia, otherwise he will leave her. After a few days, the people came to know that the payment has been made to them, but the who has made this payment is not disclosed yet. So Bennett just has made up in their mind that the payment is basically made by Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner. But when Lydia came back and everything was sorted, so Lydia just disclosed that the payment was made by Mr. Darcy. This made a very good impression on Elizabeth, as she got impressed with him. So Darcy once again proposed her, and she said yes this time, and Darcy and Elizabeth got married. Jane and Mr. Bingley, on the other hand, also got married. Lydia is now back with the family, and Wickham is also ready to live with them. So the novel ended happily, and it's a happy ending novel. So this was the story. I hope you guys understood, and if you guys have any doubt, so you can ask me in the comment section. If you guys like it, so please just like the video and do subscribe my channel, because I am surely gonna come with lot of good stuff for you guys and will not make you down. So just please keep supporting. Thank you.
But I'm gonna try. Would you let me see beneath your beautiful? Would you let me see beneath your perfect? Take it off now, girl. Take it off now, girl. I wanna see inside. Would you let me see beneath your beautiful tonight?
So long you couldn't stop if you tried it. You built your wall so high that no one could climb it. But I'm gonna try. Would you let me see beneath your beautiful? Would you let me see beneath your perfect? Take it off now, boy. Take it off now, boy. I wanna see inside. Would you let me see beneath your beautiful tonight?